Hello Twin Flames, this is Victoria and I'm here with your daily energy check. Welcome to my channel, whether you're new or you're coming back. Thanks for being here and let's get started. I've got quite a few decks with me today, so we'll do a regular check. There will be an additional question for each of the twins. We'll see what it is, I don't know yet. And yeah, I have my messages cards today. I have brought the Hermit Tarot and of course I have the self-compassion practices, so we'll pull a card with one of those. And I'm gonna start with Alice the Wonderland set of oracle cards. So let's see what kind of advice are we gonna get for our twins right now. What do we need to know? Let's start with Divine Feminines actually. And yeah, this is the new week, so welcome to the new week, guys. I hope it started nicely for you. Tomorrow I'm gonna do a reading for the new moon in Leo, so pay attention to that, watch out for that. It's gonna be an interesting one. But yeah, I mean, we've through the readings we've actually been getting for a couple of days, let's through the weekend, that the twins are already in that manifesting space, which is really good to be in, to prep yourself, not just in when the new moon energy is speaking, but actually going into it, so that you kind of like reconfirm and reaffirming it for yourself when it's peak time. Also, I'm thinking about putting up a new backdrop. Well, probably not a new one, but a different one, because I have quite a few by now. And I'm thinking between the black and white, with like the sun and the moon, or a green one. I don't know, we'll see what I settle on. So the card for feminines is A Moment's Regret, number 16. Nostalgia, idealizing the past, fearing you've made a mistake. It's also a fear of missing out, I'm getting. Yeah, so a moment's regret is kind of can come in as that specific emotion in that particular time, which is fine, it's natural. And that's how our ego speaks to us. It's always comparing what we do versus what others do, or what was versus what is. You know, it's always like comparing towards something. The same way as our brain compares, like has certain comparison work to do when it's determining or it's assessing a person, an object, a situation. There's always like this set of templates that we are comparing against to identify whether this is good or bad, whether this, I don't know, this fruit is ripe, whether this venture is worth pursuing, whether this person is someone I want to spend more time with, you know, like where this, and of course those are different situations and the complexity will be different of the comparison, but it's still, that's the process that's happening. So yeah, sometimes it can lead to this moment of regret, but it's important not to dwell on it, not to stay too much in it. And even if objectively you realize that you made the wrong choice, or it's somehow, I don't know, whether there was, you know, you're just realizing how bad something was, or you're comparing to now and you realize that you wish you could go to those days and, you know, be there rather than here. Like, it's okay to feel that through and to release it. Or if you feel like it's coming back again and again, journal it, meditate on it, see why it keeps coming back. And I can guarantee you that if you spend a bit more time on it and go beyond the automated program that your brain is playing on you, you'll see that there's a lot more information there that your brain is emitting, just because of how the programs are running in our brain, right? And you'll see a lot more details on why it's not so black and white. For masculines, we have choices. Feeling blocked, restrained. So there's a choice that needs to be made to get out of the block or restraint right now. And it's not an easy one, obviously, right? So the masculines are doing their analysis and comparison and trying to see, am I, like, what is the right choice? What is a better choice, at least? What is the lesser evil? You know, from those different perspectives. There's no one perfect choice. That's the challenge. That's part of our spiritual path, right? To be assessing those choices that are not obvious, that are not all like this is really good and this is really bad, so I'm definitely going this way. No, it's almost never like that. And good and bad, of course, are judged by different criteria, different points in our journey. Okay, let's see what we have for the energies. What is happening with the Divine Feminine energies at this time? I have my Dream Wave Tarot today and the After Tarot as well. I think I'll use it for an additional question. Page of Swords in reverse. And the Moon. Yeah, you may feel a little bit like you don't want to face the outside world. And it may go to a bit of an extreme where you're like going to be avoiding people or postponing running certain errands, having certain conversations. Yeah, so it's fine as long as you're taking care of yourself and as long as you're listening to yourself, what is really happening. Because if there is a certain denial or certain fear of why you don't want to face something, right, it's really useful, and I just spoke about it, it's really useful to dive into that and see why, right? Or if you don't understand, then ask those questions. Somebody asked me in the previous reading, how do I know? What do I do to fix things, right? You ask questions, yes. You see how you feel about the situation and you dive deeper into that like a detective, right? There's no better way to do it, really. So, and I'm getting that there will be, over the next few days, there will be quite a few insights that can be coming up for the feminine. So be gentle with yourself. If you don't feel like going out to a specific public event, or even just doing some business here and there where you have to invest a lot of energy in it, and you naturally feel like you'd rather conserve it because you'll need it to take care of yourself, then do that. This is our first and foremost responsibilities for ourselves and our well-being. So it's important to be in that mindset where you're keeping track of that, where you're paying attention to it. Also this week we have the Mercury retrograde begin. It's beginning officially, yes, the official opening is on Sunday, but on the 23rd. But of course we're kind of already in that shadow period, so that may throw a wrench into your plans or the conversations or negotiations you're having with people as well. What do we have for the masculines today? The Hanged Man, Nine of Pentacles, Five of Swords. Yeah, so we've been seeing Hanged Man for a while now for the masculines. And I'm getting, this is the week, this is the time when new information is coming out on what is worth investing time in and what isn't, you know, and that's where that choice may lie, right? And you'll be surprised on how the situation will present itself. Something that was seemingly looked good before, you will see how much of an illusion it is. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really, it may be good, you know, for some people, for their situations, but it may not be like that for you. And just because some other people jumped on the chance and it worked for them, it doesn't mean that it's suitable for you, you know, something on those lines. And on the other hand, something or somebody else that was overlooked before is gonna look lucrative now. It's gonna be like, oh yeah, I almost missed that. Oh wow, I never looked at that situation or that person from this side. And you'll see them completely different, and you'll wanna explore more, do more, and make choice towards in that direction, you know, rather than spending resources here on something that's seemingly good, but you don't feel good about it anyway. Right? No, you'd rather go for something that you now discover and is so exciting, and it's almost like there's a lot more depth to it that you haven't comprehended yet, so you'll feel curious about it and you'll want to know more. Okay, oops, and I got a 4 of Wands card. I don't know why, I honestly didn't ask the question, but I got a 4 of Wands card. Which was not just about masculines, but I'm getting that this is one of the topics that the twins are contemplating these days. I'm getting that in personal readings, I'm getting that in my own energy, where and remember I spoke about it when in my reading about Venus retrograde. because Venus retrograde lasts through the month of August up till September 3rd. And all this time is the time when we are reassessing our view, our opinions, our preferences, and how we build relationships, what that intimacy is like, what do we see as real connection. It doesn't have to be exactly a romantic connection, but for us as twins, especially if you already met your twin, this is definitely going to be coming up again and again. Even if you start your process, your thinking process with somebody else, you still inevitably will go back to your twin, because that's the template, really. You know, that's where we are working with like the highest frequencies, energies, templates, guidances, everything, right? That's like the model. So yeah, this is just, I guess this is a general thought of the day for the twins, for both, because I wasn't gonna do the connection, but there you go, you have one card for the connection space and what is relevant right now. With a different deck, I'm gonna look at one more question. And today, because we're seeing on both sides that there is a certain stress about where I am now, what kind of choices I'm making, you know, either or. Yeah, let's find out a little bit more about that. So let's see for the feminines, for example, what is the new information that's coming up this week that's important, that's making you feel vulnerable, or get to need the thing that you'll need to spare your resources to work in this topic or to deal with it. It can be very much a 3D theme, why not? But ultimately it's impacting your journey and your general state of mind. The World, Three of Pentacles, and Justice. Wow, this is huge. Wow, two major arcanas. And I mean, the World and Justice is just, this is like, open your eyes to like the truth that you've been missing all this time. So that kind of idea. And I love the Three of Pentacles because it's also about the relationship, the collaboration, you know, something about creating with another, you know. And the Three of Pentacles, of course, the third energy is the divine, right? It's like this creativity in its best form, right? Like, how do I create with someone something extraordinary, something divine, right? And you may get this understanding through getting to know different experiences or examples among celebrities, among somebody you know personally, and from your own past, maybe from your parents' past, right? And you'll gather that information and you'll be able to discern, right? You'll be able to see the bigger picture with the World here. And with the Justice, you'll be able to objectively assess what was justified, what wasn't, what was loving, what wasn't, right? And determine for yourself how that works. How do you still stay inspired and creative, even if the relationship itself may be, you know, may fall into the place where it's like day-to-day routine, right? Or like inevitably we have that routine, you know, as much as we like or don't like it, it's still there, right? It's not like every day is like just the big adventure where you never know what happens. There are very few people who live that kind of life. For the most part, we still have our schedule, our routine, certain things that are important for our lifestyle, for our health, physical and emotional, right? We have our occupation, our certain jobs, right? We're taking care of people around us, right? So that still, it presupposes certain routine, right? And how do you not fall completely into that routine, but stay, keep it exciting and new and fresh? Very interesting. What is coming up for the masculines and how they're making that choice? What is the useful information that will come up when they will know what choice to make? How will they know that? Knight of Wands, very interesting. So we're just talking about creativity and Six of Swords, and this is actually kind of a continuation of the topic, because this is about passion, this is about sacral chakra, and again, although a lot of times we speak of it in the context of the sexual energy, at the same time, the same chakra is responsible for creative pursuits and for passion that drives you towards big achievements in your life. And I feel like in this deck, because of the Sphinx and the pyramids, it's even more emphasized that way, right? That you're almost like flying above the world with something classy, but also eternal, you know, like you are bringing in your legacy. And with the Six of Swords, it's another card of legacy and heritage, and what you're passing on to for generations to come, or what do you treasure that you want to keep taking forward with you through life. Not let it naturally decay or stay behind, but you treasure it and you want to continue seeing it in the future. What you've discovered or what you've created, you know, your choice that you're going to be making, Divine Masculines, is supposed to be in alignment with that heritage that you see is important, with whatever is that passion about, of what you've already created or what you're really willing to create, you know, the grander scheme of things. So thinking big, not like I want to create, I don't know, I want to have a good harvest this year, you know, want to buy a new car in a few months. No, think big, think for generations to come. What are you leaving behind? What are you striving for? What is that bigger achievement of your life that you feel you'll be proud of to pass it on to your kids and grandkids? Okay, messages from masculine to feminines. First of all, what would the masculines like to share at this time? It's a big deck, so yeah, it takes a minute to shuffle it. Too many cards. Let's keep shuffling. Thank you. That's better. Still a lot of cards. Masculines are talkative today. So there is someone else that they're taking care of right now. It could be children, could be karmic partners, could be a friend or a family member that they feel they needs their attention first and foremost at the moment, that they're focusing on. You hurt me, but that's okay, I guess. So they're replaying certain things that were going on. It doesn't have to be words, it can be actions, and it doesn't have to be something dramatic, but it could be that maybe they were looking for your attention or piece of advice or just general support and you didn't do that, or you were paying attention to someone else when there were a few of you. It could be anything like that. You know, it could be more or less ego-driven, depending on where your masculine is right now. And then we have, I just wish things were different. And that's the truth. Yes, one sword. I worry about us a lot. And what do you want? Yeah, so there is some, as they are in that anxious space of making choices, the masculines are wondering. And because we already saw that both twins have the union on their mind, and what is that gonna look like? And one of the things that the masculines are contemplating is what choice, which direction would play out better for the connection and for the both of you to be happy and, well, just generally satisfied in it. Somehow it feels more of a practical choice, and that's why it's like a question of comfort and joy from like the material setting of some sort. From feminines to masculines. Okay, yeah, I think that's enough. We have, your family won't like me. You make my heart full. This is 10 of Cups. Love it. You even see me that way. And one want. So yeah, definitely the feminines are feeling the pull. They are the sexual energy, I'm getting that's part of this consideration, because this is happening on both sides, even though this doesn't have to be about sex per se, maybe, who knows, but it's not even that, but because it's happening in a synchronistic way on both sides, it creates that extra spark, that extra even tension if you're not with your twin intimately like if it's not available to you, you know, that energy keeps building up. But yeah, there is at some point, there is a little bit of that fear of like, where are we right now? And also, how do you feel about, basically the feminine is thinking of like, how do you feel about me being part of your community? It doesn't even have to be family, like necessarily, specifically parents, siblings, right? It can be community, you know, local community, but still, you know, like the circle that you're communicating with, you know, that somehow the feminine see themselves as not being just naturally fitting into that, right? So they're now thinking, is that going to be a problem, or which part of it is going to be a problem? Do I want to do something about that? Those kind of questions. Okay, last but not least, we'll get one practice for self-compassion. Let's see what we have for today. And every time I'm hoping that it's gonna be a new one. Nothing personal. We had compassion comrade. Yes, this is a new one. Compassion comrade. Choose a painful experience from your past. Imagine, and that would be, I feel, very easy to do today based on the cards that we saw. Imagine someone who has a deep well of compassion was there with you in that scene, meaning in the past. How would they help? What would they say? Beautiful, I love that. So imagine that in that moment, in that painful moment in the past, you have this compassion comrade, whoever it is in your life, real or imaginary or celebrity, whoever, right? And imagine if they were there with you, how would they support you? What would they say? How would they help? Okay, I hope this has been useful to you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love you all, and I'll be back with more readings very soon. Love you.